Hello children, I welcome you all once again. In this science session, we will have a quick recap of what we have learned in the last session. In last session, we have learned that multiple reflection can be obtained by placing more than one mirror at an angles to each other, which results in reflection of light for multiple times, isn't it, between the reflecting surfaces. That is, when an object is placed between two plane mirrors parallel to each other, then we get an infinite number of images. And then we have learnt about periscope. What is periscope? Periscope is an instrument used to look at the object that are not in the sight of the observer. So it is used to see the object that are hidden. So periscope is also worked on the principle of multiple reflection of light. And we have learned that inside the periscope, two plane mirrors are inclined at an angle of 45 degree. So periscopes are generally used in submarines and also bunkers, used in bunkers by the soldiers. Then we have learnt about kaleidoscope. It is a device works on the principle of multiple reflection of light, and it has three cylindrical, three plane mirrors, and which it also contains several pieces of broken glass, beads, or colorful bangles pieces, etc. And when light falls on these objects in the kaleidoscope, multiple reflection of these objects um, created in the three mirrors. This results in the formation of beautiful colorful patterns. And what is very this unique feature of kaleidoscope is that we will never see the same pattern again and again. So by seeing this, designers of wallpapers and fabrics, also artists, they use kaleidoscope to get an idea for new patterns. Then we have learned about sunlight, whether it is white or colored, and sunlight is white in color, but this white color consists of 7 colors, namely PIBGR. Isn't it? This arrangement of 7 colors of white light is called as spectrum. And due to this, due to reflection of light, the 7 colors can split and can be seen as separate colors rather than a single white light. So this phenomenon of splitting of light into its 7 colors is what we call that as dispersion of light. And what are different examples of dispersion of light? Formation of rainbow, that is dispersion of white light through water droplets. Then when sunlight passing through a prism, it splits into 7 colors. Then dispersion of light through soap bubbles, and also dispersion of light on the CDs, that is compact discs. So these are different examples of dispersion of light we have learned. And now let's proceed further. We will be learning about the structure and working of human eye. So eyes are sensory organs that allow us to see the objects present in our environment. So the eyes absorb the light rays and it form a visual image and transform this information of the image to the brain, isn't it? And so if you see the eye, usually it has a spherical structure, what we call that as eyeball. And the eyeball, that is eyeballs, are attached in the socket, eye socket, and various muscles are connected to them. Those muscles are called as eye muscles. So because of these muscles, as we have learned, contraction and relaxation of muscles only make us to move. Isn't it the same way? The eye muscles allow the movement of eyeballs. We can rotate our eyes, isn't it? Eyeballs. So the movement of eyeball is due to the eye muscles. And then if you see eyelids, the eyes are protected with eyelids, and they prevent the eyelids, they prevent excess of light and dust enter into the eyes, and thus it saves our eyes from any foreign objects. And if you see, these are all the superficial structure we have learned about: eyeball, eye muscles and eyelids. Now what is there inside our eyes? We see things only when the light coming from the object, that is reflected light, which enters our eyes. And eye is a most important sense organ. So it is very important to understand its structure and function. So if you see, eye has a roughly spherical structure and spherical in shape. The outer coat of the eye is white. So it is used to, it can protect the interior of the eye from accidents. Its transparent front part is called cornea. And behind the cornea, we find dark muscular structure called as iris. So first is transparent part called as cornea. And behind the cornea, we have iris. In the iris, if you see, there is a small opening called as pupil. And the size of the pupil, that is the opening, is being controlled by the iris. So iris is that part of the eye which gives its distinctive color. And when we say that that person has green eyes, which means we actually refer to the color of the iris. And also iris controls the amount of the light entering into the eye. Got children? So cornea, iris and pupil. What is pupil? Pupil is nothing but the opening of the iris. And the color of the iris determines our color of the eye. And how this cornea, how this iris control the light entering into our eye, let's learn by activity. And for this activity, please never use a laser torch, because laser torch, has laser light. It has laser light, and laser light has very high intensity, and hence it is harmful for the human eye. It can even cause damage to the eyes and can even lead to blindness. So please never use laser torch. Now for this activity, what we have to do is, we should have two persons. For example, you and your friend can do this activity. Look into your friend's eye, and now first you have to observe the size of the pupil. Then just throw light on your friend's eye with a torch. Now observe the pupil. Now again switch off the torch and again observe the pupil once again. Now what will happen? Do you notice any change in the size of the pupil? In which case the pupil was larger, and why that happened? In which case pupil was larger? When the torch was closed, you can see the size of the pupil get expand. And in which case, why do you need to allow more light in the eye? When the light is dim or bright? When the light is dim, we need to allow more light into our eyes. That is why the pupil get expand, isn't it? So the pupil, what is pupil? Pupil is an opening that lets light into our eye. Since most of the light entering our eye does not escape, the pupil appears black. And in dim light, our pupil expands and allow more light to enter into our eye. In bright light, on the other hand, it contracts. So if you see, our pupil can range in diameter from 1/16 inch, that is 1.5 millimeter. And if you see, light detected by the retina of our eye is converted into this. About retina, about nerves, optic nerves and all, we will be seen in that later portion of this session. So first it will be detected by the retina of our eye, and that light will be converted into nerve impulses. Then that nerve impulses will be carried by the optic nerve, and some of the nerve impulses go from the optic nerve to the muscles which control the size of the pupil. That is, if more light enters, it will create more nerve impulses, causing the muscles of the pupil to close. That is why when in a bright light, the size of the pupil is reduced. That is, pupil is nothing but the opening of the iris, which control the amount of light entering into our eyes. So now, if you go through the parts of the human eye in a detailed manner, first is cornea. Cornea is a transparent covering which is present on the outer side of the eyes. Usually it consists of 6 layers. So tear fluid that covers cornea and it protects the eye. And iris, next part is iris. Iris is a dark colored muscular structure present in the center of the cornea, and the iris consists of a small opening called as pupil through which light enters into the eye. And the iris has colorful pigments like gray, blue, black, green, brown, etc. So which determines our color of the eye, isn't it? And the amount of light that enters into our eye is controlled by the iris. That is, iris has a small opening called pupil. So the amount of light enters into our eye will be controlled by the pupil. And next is lens. If you see lens here, it is like a sphere of liquid that which are present inside the eye. And where it is located behind the pupil, by which it forms it helps in the formation of image in the eye. And now next part is retina. Retina is a layer located behind the lens at the back of the eye. So in front portion we have learned about cornea, iris. Iris has an opening called pupil. Then behind the pupil we have lens. That is front, and behind we have retina. What is retina? Retina is a layer located behind the lens at the back of the eye. And the eye lens focuses the light that enters into the eye over the retina, because lens is a converging lens. So it converges the light into which makes the light to fall on the retina. And then retina consists of different nerve cells that perform different tasks. That is, and this nerve cells are sensory cells that detect light, and then that transform that information into electric impulses. Then electric impulses are sent to the brain through optic nerve. So if you see, 2 types of vision cells, nerve cells are there in the retina: rods and cones. Rods, they get activated in darkness, and they are useful for light and dark vision. And cones, they react to the bright light, and therefore they sense the color in the object. That is, because of cones we can see the colors. For children, so retina, they consist of nerve cells, or vision cells, 2 types of vision cells, rods and cones. And then coming to vitreous chamber, the inner space of the eyeball, it is transparent. It is called as transparent vitreous chamber because it consists of gel-like substance, and because this substance maintains the right pressure in the eye and also maintain the stability of the eyeball. So what is the function of vitreous chamber? Because of the gel-like substance present in the vitreous chamber, it maintains the right pressure in the eye, and thus it maintains the stability of the eyeball. The next part is blind spot, and there is a point in the eye located at the junction of retina and the optic nerve. Here, where in that place where the junction between the retina and the optic nerve, no sensory cells are present. Therefore, this spot is called as blind spot. And in next session, we will be learning in detail about blind spot. Okay, children. So we'll end this session here. And in this session, we have learned about cornea, the structure of eye, structure and function of eye. First part is cornea. It is white and transparent. It protects from accident, and that it doesn't allow the foreign particle inside. See in the picture, that outer white transparent, it is called as cornea. And then we have seen about iris. It determines the color of the eye, and also it has an opening called pupil. Because of this, it controls the amount of light entering into the eye. Then next we have seen about lens. It is usually a convex lens that is thicker in the middle and thinner at the edges. That is, it is converging lens. It makes the light to converge exactly falls on the retina, that is, which are present behind the lens at the back of the eye. And then retina, we have seen that which are present at the back of the eye, which consist of two types of nerve cells, cones and rods, or you can say rods and cones. Rods are sensitive to dim light, and cones are sensitive to bright light, by which we can see different colors. And then we have seen about optic nerves. It transfer messages in the form of electric impulses to the brain. For children, so here the full structure of eye, we have cornea, iris, pupil, which are the front part of lens, which are the front part of the eye, and behind we have retina and optic nerve. And about the blind spot where the retina and the optic nerve, they meet, the junction, what we call that as blind spot, where no sensory cells are present. About blind spot, we will be learning in detailed manner in our next session. That's all for this session. Thank you.